Hello, this is Cynthia Sue Larson with RealityShifters.com, and I'm talking with you today about something that's really been on my mind and in my heart a lot lately, which is dreaming of a new world with conscious agents. And this question was posed to me recently: what is this new world going to look like? What do I envision that it may be? And I've talked about it in previous videos and in my blog and so forth, and it's definitely been part of, I think, all of our consciousness ever since 2012, when people were expecting that there would be this whole new world right now. And it looks like things are shaping up in extraordinary ways. There's a lot going on. And a friend of mine recently shared a dream with me that she said, Cynthia, you were in my dream. Let me tell you what I dreamt. And she shared with me that she'd been setting up a table in England for some kind of an event that was being held in a courtyard. And in her dream, I walked out to some central place there in the courtyard, and it was it had red earth there in the center. And suddenly the earth opened up under me, and I began to fall into this deep chasm, this deep yawning hole, which had spiky stalagmites underneath. And I was at this point dangling over these spiky stalagmites. And my dream, fortunately, my friend was able to come save me from this situation, but she started moving in slow motion, and she managed to catch me and pull me up back up to safe ground. I'd been dangling there by my arms, sort of by, like, my shoulders were above the hole and the rest of me was below. So anyway, I responded to my friend that if this was my dream, I would use a 4-step dream analysis process on it. I'd start with, she did with the first step, which is write out the narrative. And then I proceeded in a long email to her. I took every single dream element for step 2 and broke out what those were, like England and friends and so forth, whole and so forth. Step 3, I did free association and brainstorming to see how I would respond to each of those dream elements. And then for step 4, I'll read you what I got. I put together a narrative based on these free associations. The end result was this. Okay, here we go. Good friends, supported by deep foundations of loving family, travel on an adventure together to a large community gathering. And this was an event and experience. The friends are well prepared for this adventure with strong foundations and support, and with reassurance that this adventure will be protected, with any possible adverse events being cushioned along the way. Thanks to the presence of angelic support, protection, inspiration, and guidance, healing and balance is possible throughout. As the friends reach out to communicate with the rest of those around, it becomes clear something big and central is about to happen that involves native indigenous wisdom and Mother Earth herself. This is a time of breakdown and breakthrough, a time of awakening through some shocking developments that catch people by surprise, with sudden revelation of deep chasms of subconscious issues appearing suddenly. The nature of how this is felt is between the 4th and 5th energy centers, moving from heart to throat, requiring mastery of respect and communication with all conscious agents, people, animals, plants, angels, and earth, and God too. A process of coordinating collective subconscious issues now begins, sometimes being felt in uniquely subjective ways in space and time. Thanks to supporting one another and sharing information, safe passage can be made. New generations can thus flourish in the new world. So that was both her dream, my summary of it, and then my takeaway of, after doing this dream analysis, if that was my dream, what would it mean? And of course it sounds to me like the 5th world, what I was thinking about. And it seems synchronous that she would have this dream and be tuned into that and sharing it with me. And it reminds me that I've actually done a video before about choosing Rev Humanism at the dawning of this new 5th world. I talked about the Hopi. I talked about what Rev Humanism means to me. Sometimes there's a shakeup, like your camera goes spinning around on the tripod, like that. And sometimes there's another shakeup. I think this is, to me, these things talk. So as I'm talking about something, if these sorts of things happen, I read the symbolism in every moment. And so when we get a fresh perspective, like just happened there with the camera, that's important. And when we get two fresh perspectives, that's doubly important. It means pay attention. So this Rev Humanism, this idea, I came up with the word Rev Humanism because that word Rev in Latin, it means reviving, regaining, recalling, growing strong and young again. I love that. It is an alternative to this transhumanism. I look at the Hopi prophecy rock and I see that line that continues on and it doesn't stop and it never ends. It's the line of respect. To me, that's reverence. Reverence for all of our relations and the earth. And that kind of reverence, that quality that inspires us to be living true to our highest potential, requires adjustments in perspective, of course, like what just happened with the camera. And another big idea with this whole fifth world concept is that we can be reassured that space-time as we know it and physical reality as we presume it to be is so much deeper and bigger than that. I've got a picture here of, I hope you can see it. It's that strange little, yeah, there you can see it. Bring it in closer. So that's the, yeah, we're looking at an amplitude-hedron. And it does indicate the kind of mathematics that can be ultimately much simpler, requiring fewer variables and more certainty of what we're doing, but expanding our ability to do mathematics and think scientifically in terms of new geometries. This amplitude-hedron could be the future of all of our physics in the future, where we look at how space-time itself might be, as some people are saying, dead. And we at IMEC, International Mandela Effect Conference, recently had the Professor Dr. Donald Hoffman speaking with us about the amplitude-hedron, about the fact space-time may be dead. And it's not a bad thing because it can be reborn in terms of a deeper underlying reality based on conscious agents. And what are conscious agents? Well, that's where we came in today with that dream, this awareness that we could have a breakdown before the breakthrough. And some of us who might feel like we're falling down over spiky things, some of us have gone through the long haul version of something like that, and I've done videos on that. Myself, having gone through an experience with this long 18-month experience with the spike proteins and coming out the other side. So there are ways to bring healing through to this new world. I love to look at the way Max Planck, the founder of quantum physics, started with conscious agency when he said consciousness is fundamental. You cannot get behind consciousness. It's the basis for everything. So I know that he would delight in this concept of an amplitude-hedron and the idea that sometimes things might be bugging us. We may feel that we need to change our perspective and we don't want to do that. But there can be great insights from all of that when it happens. Ultimately, we can prepare to exit the machine-like way of thinking that we've been stuck on for so long, that so many of us have had beliefs that we had to be in control because it's unpleasant when we have to keep changing our perspectives, when we have to keep dealing with things that keep popping up. We'd rather fix the blame, do a fast kind of a cursory assessment of what's going on, think we understand it, without fully integrating between our heads, which have a nervous system. There are neurons there, of course. Our hearts, which also have a nervous system, and neurons are there. And our guts, which also have a nervous system, and there are nerves there as well. When we align ourselves and recognize that what we need might not be what we were envisioning, and it may seem different than what we love, we get the opportunity to get back to all of nature, to all of the things that can kind of go wrong when we're out here in it. Yeah, I can hear birds singing right now. I can feel the wind. When the camera bumped this most recent time, there was an insect climbing up my leg. And all of that can be annoying. It can be frustrating. It can feel like now we're not doing what we thought we wanted to do. Maybe there are conscious agents that have bigger plans. Maybe they're inviting us to go past our fear, expand into something bigger than we've ever thought we were before. And it's a process where we can engage with all of our hearts and our love to connect deeply with our friends, the plants, the animals, and each other, from our hearts, really feeling the connection and the genuine truth of what we need, what we love, and how we can together co-create this multi-leveled fifth world that is about to become a reality. It feels to me like we're starting. It feels to me like this breakdown is a breakthrough. And those of us who are having a rough time and have dealt with great hardships, I'm not making light of that. I am inviting us to continue to expand our awareness and be fearless in our courage and our hearts for ourselves, for one another, so that when we ask how good can it get, we're asking this for all of us, for all of our relations, and at every level of our being, and for the creation of this new fifth world. How good can it get for everyone? Until next time, this is Cynthia Sue Larson with realityshifters.com. Thanks so much.